Moving forward, we are going to hear about something that has shook the tech circles of India, that is DPDP Act. Every single tech circle is talking about that. So we are going to talk a little bit more about that and some other interesting things related to cyber security. And for that, I'm going to call an extremely prestigious person on stage. Ladies and gentlemen, please get ready for Dr. Pavan Duggal, Advocate Supreme Court of India. He has made an immense impact with an international reputation as an expert and authority on cyber law, cyber security law, cyber crime law, artificial intelligence, and e-commerce law. He has been acknowledged as one of the top 4 cyber lawyers around the world. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Dr. Pavan Duggal.
Hi, good morning. How many of you in this room don't deal with data? Any hands? No hands. Anybody who's not connected to the internet or the electronic ecosystem? None. Then let's realize one basic exercise. That internet has made us global authors, global transmitters, and global broadcasters of data. India is in a unique revolution mode. I call it the Great Indian Vomiting Revolution. Indians are vomiting data about their personal, professional, social lives on the internet. And we are merely leaving behind our footprints without us understanding how these data footprints are going to be going ahead and being used against us. And while we are still in our ivory towers in a state of complacency, I think the time for us to wake up has come now. Why? Because the Indian ecosystem is now suddenly getting more revived with more legal frameworks. Yesterday's news, well, Parliament probe has actually found out that there have been 165 data breaches from 2018 to 2023, as reported by certain. Mind you, these are just government figures. They do not really reflect the ground reality. So basically, bottom line is everybody's data is getting leaked. So once data is getting leaked, you don't know where it's going. And once your data gets leaked, you are in a huge problem. More so if your Aadhaar data gets leaked, because your biometrics and your iris scan is all connected therewith. Now, look at this particular story, which says that over 80% of the companies in India have been hit by a cyber attack only last year. And I would tend to agree with this basis the work that I have been doing. A lot of people get hit, they don't get talked about it. So just because you don't hear does not mean the things are hunky-dory. This particular law is something that you need to know. The name is very clear, Digital Personal Data Protection Act 2023. Came into passed as law and notified in the Gazette on 11th of August 2023. Everything pertaining to personal data is sought to be covered within the ambit of this particular law. So suddenly you find that as a data principal, you are empowered. But you suddenly find that as a company, as a data processor, as a data fiduciary, there are now new sets of compliances that you would be required to be doing. So you're going to have a data protection officer, you're now going to have a consent manager. The consent manager's only job is to help the data principals either give the consent or withdraw the consent. So dedicated people are some new things that you will have to have on your payroll. Okay, that's all the law says, nothing much. You don't comply, and that's where action starts. The moment you don't comply, you can be fined up to 250 crore rupees per contravention. 250 crore rupees per contravention. Assuming there are 4 contraventions, you're talking about 1,000 crores. Is that loose change that you have as a company? I don't think so. So the thumb rule is proactively comply, and together let's work towards making the data economy far more strong, far more resilient, and ensuring or minimizing our exposure to legal liability, both civil and criminal, not just to the 250 crore rupees, but also to jail time under the IT Act. That in a nutshell is what I think is a duty that we as corporates, we as the data economy ecosystem, stakeholders owe to us and to other stakeholders as we go forward. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. It's a pleasure talking with you.
Thank you so much, sir. I would request you to stay back on stage. Firstly, a huge round of applause for Dr. Pavan for so patiently explaining us the entire act and also scaring us a little about the fine. 250 crores, 250 crores, remember that. Sir, that was a very, very insightful session. I would request Mr. Isaac from Team Secure to kindly come on stage and felicitate Dr. Pavan. Thank you, Dr. Pavan, and thank you, Mr. Isaac. I would just like to take one more moment and say that, sir, it was so strategically, the presentation was so strategically planned that as and when I was having questions, the questions were answered on the go. But I'm sure all of us have a lot of questions. I also still have some questions that I want to understand because this is so new and fresh. And there is this thing, you know, we are all waiting for a scapegoat to fall under DPDP to understand exactly how things are going to roll out. I'm sorry for being so notorious. But yeah, that happens. And that's the reason why we have a lot of questions. So once again, I'm going to remind you that we have a fishbowl. Devesh, where exactly is the fishbowl placed though? So basically, any registration desk, write down your questions, put it in the fishbowl. We are going to have a separate session answering all of your questions. And like he said, at any of the registration desks. Now, apart from that, there's also something really nice that all of you have been handed. This is a passport and a boarding pass. Do you all have the passport and the boarding pass with you? Yeah? We forgot the communication. Do we have the passport and the boarding pass? Anybody who does not have it? Nice. So I'm just going to take a moment and explain what the passport is. Of course, the passport has the entire agenda. It has a space for you to take your notes. And in the end, it has a QR code which you can scan to take a demo from Secure. Now, this boarding pass is also very, very important. Just like all of our boarding passes when we go to the airport, if you lose this, you're going to be running helter-skelter. This boarding pass at the back, it has 3 booths. So there are 3 booths outside. When you visit the booths, make sure you get this boarding pass stamped because towards the end of the conference, when you go to the registration desk, they will check your stamps, and if it has stamps on all 3 of them, you may stand a chance to win a giveaway. You will definitely get a giveaway, but you know, custom clearance rules, no, the stamp has to be there. So this is what the boarding pass and the passport stands for. I think it's a very, very cool thing, so make sure you make the most of it. With that, ladies and gentlemen, I know that we want a lot of discussions to happen intimately and, of course, a lot of networking to happen. For that, we are going to break for 15 minutes. It's a small high tea break for 15 minutes. Make sure you all come back after 15 minutes because there's a lot in store at Security Now 2023 for all of you. Thank you so much for being patient. I'll see you all back in 15 minutes.